Welcome to Variant, where we love comics more than I can't wait to see the new Justice League movie. I'm your host, Arris. Before I talk about Steppenwolf, I want to tell you guys that this Monday, November 13th at 3 p.m. Central Time, we're going to be kicking off a new weekly live Variant series on YouTube. It's basically another way for us to consistently connect with you guys, and we're extremely excited about it. The Variant Live series will give us another chance to talk directly to you guys about what's happening each week in the world of comics and geekdom. So we'll cover everything from comic books, movies, TV, and collectibles, and whatever else is on your mind or my mind. Again, Variant Live starts this Monday, November 13th at 3 p.m. Central Time. Complete details are in the description below, and we hope you guys come join us. As for today, the Justice League movie is quickly approaching, and my nerdy heart couldn't be more excited. So in preparation for the Justice League, let's take a look at the history of the movie's big bad and one of Darkseid's elite soldiers, Steppenwolf. One thing you will notice about Steppenwolf is that his history isn't too elaborate. What I mean is, he hasn't made nearly as many appearances as some other villains. Steppenwolf was created by Jack Kirby and first appeared in New Gods issue 7 in February of 1972. His name is actually German and translates to Wolf of the Steppe, or Coyote. So, the more you know. But let's dive into his origin. Steppenwolf is one of the New Gods, whose sister Hegra became the ruler of Apocalypse. She then quickly promoted him to become the post-commander of their army. During Hegra's time as ruler, her son Darkseid, yes, Steppenwolf is Darkseid's uncle, Darkseid suggested to his mom that they should invade New Genesis. For those of you who don't know, New Genesis is a paradise-like planet that is home to the good gods of Fourth World, and Fourth World is a universe of eternal conflict between gods of good and evil. So as you might have assumed already, that makes Apocalypse the evil, hellish version of New Genesis. In a future episode though, I will elaborate on the new gods, so look out for that. Anyway, Steppenwolf went to New Genesis with his army and Darkseid, where he would attack their leader, the Highfather. But when Highfather's wife tried to step in and help her husband, Steppenwolf accidentally killed her, which led to an all-out war between the two planets. Darkseid then gave Steppenwolf command of the Dog Cavalry to fight New Genesis, but Steppenwolf was killed by the Highfather. Revenge is sweet. Shortly after, Darkseid poisoned his own mother and killed her to become the new ruler of Apocalypse. He did this because, on top of his own evil ambition to become ruler, his mother had his wife Sully killed. They're a real loving family. Anyway, after Darkseid took the throne, Steppenwolf was resurrected by an invention Desaad created, and Darkseid made him military leader of Apocalypse. And the rest is history. I know that doesn't really sound like much of an origin, but hey, that's what we've been given. To sum it up, he's a new god who lives on Apocalypse, he was killed, his sister, the ruler of Apocalypse, was then murdered by her son Darkseid, who took over and brought Steppenwolf back to life to lead Darkseid's army. Short, sweet, and to the point. Let's go to story arcs. Steppenwolf has been in several stories, but they don't necessarily center around him. He's more often than not a supporting character. But something interesting is that Steppenwolf was around for one of Doomsday's first attacks. We see it all go down in the Doomsday Annual 1 comic. It all starts 245,000 years ago, where we see Steppenwolf take an Apocalypse shuttle with Darkseid, Master Mayhem, and others to the planet Bylan 5. You can't get more of a sci-fi sounding name than Bylan 5. Apparently they go there because the planet has natural materials needed for the weaponry of Apocalypse. Long story short, Doomsday attacks and rips Master Mayhem apart, which doesn't sit well with Darkseid. So he ignores Steppenwolf, who says to use his Omega Beams, because it would be a much safer way of attack, and instead engages Doomsday in hand-to-hand combat. Because this is Darkseid, and he doesn't care about safe. As the two fight, Steppenwolf sees the destruction the battle is bringing to the planet and teleports himself and Darkseid out of harm's way, agreeing with Darkseid not to mention this to anyone. Then in Terror Titans issue 2, we see Steppenwolf in human form as a member of the board for the Darkseid Club, but he's easily killed by the new Clock King of all people. Then in the New 52, the first time we see Steppenwolf is in Justice League issue 6, where he and Desaad are torturing Superman. Steppenwolf would next appear in the New 52 Earth 2 title, where he killed Earth 2 Wonder Woman by stabbing her in the back, despite Superman trying to warn her. As Superman watches her die, he's attacked and killed by parademons, while screaming, "I'll kill you, Steppenwolf," to which Steppenwolf is all like, "No you won't." 5 years later though, Steppenwolf is now in hiding on Earth 2, and there's a $300 million reward on his head. His luck does eventually run out, and he is killed by Earth 2's version of Bizarro, aka Brutal, who is the clone of New 52 Superman made on Apocalypse. Later, Steppenwolf was somehow revived to fight alongside Darkseid in his war against the Anti-Monitor, in the story arc called The Darkseid War. As for DC Rebirth, I don't recall seeing him in it yet. I could have just missed him or not be reading a title he's been in, but to my knowledge, he hasn't shown up yet. As a god of the fourth world, Steppenwolf has superhuman strength, speed, reflexes, stamina, and senses. He's also invulnerable to most attacks and is immortal, so he doesn't age at all. He also possesses an advanced immune system, so he's extremely difficult to poison or even get this guy sick. Steppenwolf has thousands of years of experience in most forms of combat, strategy, and weapons. However, his weapons of choice are his electro axe and cable snare. In short, he's one of the most feared and respected generals in the DC universe, as he leads Darkseid's army in invasions of other planets, mainly leading the Dog Cavalry. Read the original New Gods series by Jack Kirby, the entire New 52 Earth 2 series, Doomsday Annual 1, Justice League Volume 1 Origin, and Green Lantern New Gods Godhead. That should be enough to get you guys started. First up for Wednesday, October 8th, we have Daredevil issue 595. This is part 1 of a whole new story arc where one of Daredevil's greatest enemies, the Kingpin, has become the mayor of his city. Now we have Batman Lost issue 1. This issue takes us in the dark multiverse where Batman is trapped and forced to face his greatest fears. Here we have The Flash issue 34. When a shocking reunion leads to an even more dire discovery about the Flash's new powers, Barry and Wally will have to confront their rocky past if they plan to get out alive. And finally, we have Detective Comics issue 968. Tim Drake is finally back on Earth, but if the deadly threat he brought back with him from outside of time has its way, it won't be for long. That'll do it for today, my Comic Conrads, but remember to join us this coming Monday, November 13th at 3 p.m. Central Time for our first variant live stream, right here on the channel. And if you dig what we're doing, be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. You'll find all the buttons and links for that in the description. Other than that, I'll see you lovely people next week when I talk about all things comics.